that my little sister went to the courthouse, and we had to sit outside of the courthouse for one of Leslie Paul's friends and coworkers, as well as Scott DeCosta's friends and coworkers. Somebody who took part in helping my predators, including Ted Bollinger and Alicia Bollinger. That lady's name was Joan Hanson. And she came out. She did talk to me and my little sister. She also played fucking stupid. Yeah. Me and my little sister are both recorded in that conversation, and we're not the only ones. Do what? Guys in a black Nissan from Washington State. He came down here looking for some clear. If you know what that is, well, yeah, I don't mess with that stuff. So he was like, I don't know, dude. I was asking him because he was with his mouth. So I was like, all right, what is he after? If he's after pot, I'll let him know where the THC store is, right up there by the McDonald's. If he's after something else, I can't help you, bud. That was the guy that was craning his neck, almost broke his neck staring at me. No. Could I get meth in this town if I wanted it? Fuck yes, I could. Just the fact that I don't want it. Now, where the hell are my rolling papers? I put them back in my pocket. I guess it was the previous video that he had almost broke his neck, craning his neck to look at me. Anyway, with my little sister letting me know the cops are following her and people are threatening her life, that's nothing new. Sarah Bacon, Aaron Cockerham, all these people told me these things were happening to them years ago. But none of them came forward, and I got treated by those very cops like I was making it up. They got to pretend that I was schizophrenic, and why is it? It's because Tara never came forward. Aaron Cockerham never came forward. Carl Rogers never came forward. I do take death very seriously. I also take life very seriously. What do you think Scott Scudder would do if people were threatening to kill his family like that? What do you think Jason Scudder would do? Or Jared Scudder? You don't need to use your imagination. We already heard what they'd do. It involves violence and firearms. Same thing with what Sarah Nelson said. Sorry, not Sarah Nelson. Just too many people, too many names. It's complicated, and that makes it difficult to explain, especially in a state of crisis, which is something these predators prey on. I was nice about everything. Nice. Despite the fact that Scott Scudder would have threatened to kill him immediately. Jason Scudder would have threatened to kill him immediately. Even theoretically, he would have threatened to kill him immediately, because he did. There are certain actions that these folks say if somebody did it to them or their family, what would they do? They'd go for their Second Amendment. I don't carry my Second Amendment. I carry the First Amendment because it's the most important. The Second Amendment, all it does is protect the First Amendment. But it seems to me that the people who are most likely to have firearms only care about the firearms. You can have their firearms when you pry it from their cold, dead hands, they say. But you can take their First Amendment whenever you choose. The Second Amendment is meant to protect the First Amendment. That includes my right to turn in predators who are harming my sister or my niece. Or, of course, Marcia Estrada spoke up about how several people in town that were her patients had told her about Scott DaCosta doing that to me. Prior knowledge, before I even went there, of these things happening. From other people, verifiable sources. And my sister is also a verifiable source, and she's pissed off. She's allowed to be. She also knows the routine. Pretend like Sean's a bad guy, and Sean knows how to play the tune. However will make you guys the most happy, right? As long as me and my sister are not friends with each other, then you guys won't fuck with her. I hope that's true, but I doubt it. There's a lot of people who tried to help me, claim that they would help me the way that I needed, but they never followed through because people were threatening their friends and family. Cara Rogers told me repeatedly that law enforcement was threatening and harassing her in Florida over Natalie Bollinger getting killed. Not just the cops, also Aaron Cockerham, and they are recorded. I went back and dug up those recordings and made sure to post them to my YouTube last night. Anyway, I hope they have a place to charge in there. I should probably spend more money I don't have because I did not get an extension cord with multiple outlets, and that's pretty important. So I need to go back in. Obviously, I don't mess with meth, but I look like a hobo living in his car, so a lot of people assume. They assume the mentally ill thing. My mental illness is post-traumatic stress disorder. But rather than listen to me, when I have to go turn in my predators in law enforcement, literally 2 predators in law enforcement that I'm trying to turn in, how well is that going to work out? They're just going to coordinate with other officers to deny you your rights if they all have the same story. Or, of course, they don't even have to have the same story. They just paraphrase. My predators had a lot of help, and they had a place to do it. I didn't have a place to do it. I couldn't do that stuff at Dallas's. The issues with him and Harley were just too great. The expenses there were just too great. And of course, his need to watch and listen to harmful things as entertainment to try to drown out his depression is harmful to people like me. When Jason Scudder was talking about how he would shoot people yesterday, that is hurtful to people like me. Now, if I say something like that, what happens? You guys have me arrested immediately. You pretend I'm threatening to kill you. And of course, the cops will help you have a court date without me. Nope, that didn't make it work any better. The threats against my sister's life and my niece's life, this ain't the first time or the second time my sister told me those things. Sarah Bacon, too. Cara Rogers as well. Aaron Cockerham as well. Amanda Daniels types to me and talks to me about the fear that she has of corruption, especially corruption in western Nebraska. On the bright side, there's a bunch of Minuteman missile silos in western Nebraska. So if we get nuked, western Nebraska will be one of the first to go. Where are the Minuteman missile silos? Well, the ones over by Cheyenne, Wyoming are actually primarily east of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Many of them are east of Scotts Bluff. Matter of fact, most of them are. They're in between Scotts Bluff and Chapel, heading north on little farm roads all over the place. Pete's, Colorado. If you bomb everything around there, you'll get some nuclear silos in your bombing efforts. If you bomb Sidney, Nebraska, Lodgepole, Nebraska, Snell, Nebraska, you're bombing close enough to missile silos that you'll do enough damage to prevent a launch. How do I know these things? I've seen them. I've seen the silos. If there's a war with Russia, all nuclear, like everybody's all pretending right now. You know, the only solace that I would get out of something like that is that, number one, my sister and my niece didn't suffer. And number two, predators like Leslie Snell, Scott DeCosta, James Hammond won't be here anymore to harm anyone else. That said, if I had a shiny red button in front of me, would I have the ability to press it? No. I might get angry and say that I would. I might get angry and say I think it's the right thing to do. I actually do believe it's the right thing to do, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. The only way to end human suffering is to get rid of all the humans. How sad is that? It's the only way to keep dads from raping their children or mothers from killing their children. It's the only way to stop rapists, stop murderers, stop thieves, stop liars. If there's humans left, they'll do horrible shit to each other, guaranteed. Unless there is so few left that you can't find another human being. If there's one human being left in the United States and one human being left in Russia, do you think that those two people are going to be going to nuclear war with each other? Probably not. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of how homeless people are treated. I'm sick of being dehumanized every time I try to turn in crimes. I'm tired of my predators getting to pull sleight of hand, as Marcia Estrada calls it. My little sister, Jace Jepson, Marcia Estrada, even Leslie Snell is recorded on my channel.